So let's get started. Tip number 1 is treat everyone with dignity and respect. While the tips are not in any particular order of importance, I will say that tip number 1 is probably first because it is so profound. The story I will use to demonstrate this tip will illustrate the power of such treatment of others and involves a security guard at the Kennedy Space Center, or KSC, who treated some guests with the utmost of dignity and respect. This is a story of true American heroes who fought in World War II. These men fought in the battles of Roy Namur, Saipan, Tinian, and Iwo Jima. It involves the men of the U.S. Marine Corps, 4th Marine Division. They are reunited every year to celebrate their wartime experience, and in 2004, they chose KSC as their reunion site. Because of the age of these men and their failing health, this reunion was to be their last. What an honor it was to be their host. One of the founding fathers of this group is Norb Krass, who went on after the war to become a respected attorney. Norb and his wife, Ruth Ellen, shown circled, will probably tell you their daughter, Pam Adams, is the protocol officer at KSC and played a key role in making this story a reality. This photo of the veterans and their families was taken shortly before a bus tour of KSC, hosted by Pam in her role as both protocol officer and daughter. When the Marine tour bus arrived at Launch Complex 39, Pam stepped off to speak to Joe Fay, the security officer posted at the pad gate. Officer Fay explained to Pam that he would have to board the bus for what she assumed might be a security briefing. Instead, Officer Fay addressed the men with what can only be called an inspirational oratory. He expressed his genuine respect for their bravery and valor and appreciation for the freedom his family enjoys today because of them. He then stepped off the bus, giving them permission to approach the pad and experience the beauty of the space shuttle. As the bus passed, Officer Fay stood at attention while saluting the Marines. After the pad tour, the men and their families were overwhelmed when they looked outside to see that Officer Fay had crossed the road to stand again at strict attention and salute the Marines as they drove away. Later that evening, I was the guest speaker at a dinner with the Marines and their families. This is a photo taken of Pam, her mother, father, and 2 KSC employees who served as tour guides. The man on the far right is Peter Chitko, who felt particularly close to this group of Marines. You see, his father had died as a Marine in Vietnam when Peter was only 5 years old. During this dinner, I learned of the dignity and respect that Officer Fay had shown our veterans. These men, each and every one, explained to me how much they appreciated Officer Fay for the way they were treated. Inspired by all I heard that evening, Pam and I arranged to surprise Officer Fay at his guard post to present him with the director's commendation. It was an honor to meet the man who taught me a valuable lesson about the power of treating everyone with dignity and respect. The story was published in the KSC Spaceport News as illustrated. Also, the NASA administrator recognized Officer Fay in his Veterans Day memo to the entire NASA workforce for the way he treated our veterans.